Say thank you, thank you, thank you, 'cause I'm so grateful, oh grateful, I'm so grateful. So I wanna say thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Now thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. I wanna say thank you. Thank you. I wanna say thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I wanna say thank you. I wanna say thank you. 'Cause I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. So grateful. So grateful. So grateful. So grateful. I'm so grateful. So grateful. I wanna say thank you. I wanna say thank you. And just thank you. Thank you. I wanna say thank you. I wanna say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 'Cause I'm so grateful. Yeah. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I wanna just say thank you now. Just thank you now. 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 Each and every day I'm gonna say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a number of people here with us today. And we've been on Wednesdays here recently talking about Ho'oponopono, which is the Hawaiian prayer Dr. Hewlin made more common. I don't know if it's famous, but it's acknowledged, especially through the New Thought communities. And it's a simple series of phrases, which are, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And you hear different people discussing it, sometimes say, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I think all of them stand on their own as powerful phrases, and together in whatever combination would be appropriate for any moment. But it doesn't have to be said to someone's face. As many of you know, I think all of you are aware that he prayed over the files of criminally insane inmates at the Hawaii State Mental Hospital, and people were healed from this simple prayer. So just with that review, welcome everybody. And I have just a quick little video, but do we want to take some time and check in before we look at the video? And then Dave also has a reading he wants to share. Does anybody want to check in? No? Okay. Well, we will start with sharing the video. Maybe. Nah. You know how it is. I always have to figure it out every time like it's the first time.
Whereas they would take several years, the turnaround time for people to go home, they were going home. Maybe after one, I was there about 4 years. Maybe the turnaround time was 3 or 4 months. And so it's essentially, that's what I did, just working myself. Yeah. So, whereas they didn't have any kind of work program, we started doing things like making cookies. Started out, that was a wonderful project. Can you imagine? Supposedly all these crazy people making cookies, yeah? But making cookies, polishing shoes, washing cars, things that nobody ever thought of doing. And I didn't plan it. It just did it. I didn't go, well, let's see whether we can do something, make a new job. It didn't happen that way.
So what? I'm sorry.
And then no one could leave this unit without a physician's signature. But maybe, I don't know, a year or two down the road, we were able to have a jogging program, tennis program. Yeah. But I didn't do anything. I just was clean on myself and just kind of watch and then be awed by what God can do. Huh? Oh, wow. I should do more cleaning, huh? Instead of being annoyed and irritable. Yeah. Certain people would end up certain staff would come on the ward and the ward would go crazy. I would notice that, so I would clean with that, as opposed to, I notice when Mrs. What's-Her-Name comes, everybody goes crazy. Oh, what's going on in me when Mrs. What's-Her-Name shows up? And what's that? Yeah.
And does this go to past lives, or do you not deal with past lives?
I don't deal with that sort of stuff. I just deal with memories. What's going on in me that I'm experiencing this? Yeah. Now, there may be those things. That'll come up. But I'm more interested in just targeting what's going on in me data-wise that I'm experiencing you. So if I'm experiencing you, however, and 11 million of which I'm not even aware of that I'm experiencing you, I'm willing to do the cleaning because I'm clueless. Absolutely clueless. Yeah.
Have you, Dr. Hugh Lin, had the experience of setting your intention to do cleaning on a situation? Say someone who was, within yourself, someone came in front of you who was terminally ill, and you did some cleaning within yourself, but the person still died. Have you had the experience?
I don't know what you're talking about. This notion about intention, again, it's a concept that's just database. Nobody has intentions. This notion, the people who make a lot of money don't intend to make a lot of money. They just do because there's some data in them that creates it. But to claim that, say how good I am, but you look at the financial situation. The people who are supposedly good wrote all these books. Well, we're finding out they were otherwise. So I don't, the notion of intention is foreign to me. I don't know what that means.
Okay, maybe I'll use a different word then. Have you been in a circumstance?
All the time.
Where someone makes
all the time.
And so...
All the time. I just came back from Japan. I had this woman come up to me, and little lady, and beautiful lady. She said, I had been diagnosed as having terminal cancer. I'm going to be dead in 3 months. And so I just did a cleaning. She came up, she looked at me, she hugged me. As I hugged her, I did the cleaning. But listen, I'm not God.
Sure.
But I mean, I'm not God. I'm not here to save anybody. That's the divinity's job, not mine. Mm-hmm. My job is to say, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Mm-hmm. I'm not here to act as God to say, well, if I clean, I can save you. I don't do that.
Can you tell us more specifically what you did within yourself when that woman with cancer showed up?
Yeah.
What did you clean within yourself?
Yeah, so I said, as I was hugging her, I said to the divinity, thank you for giving me this opportunity for this lady to come up so that I can look at myself. What's going on in me that I would like to make amends for? And so I said to the divinity, I'm sorry for whatever's going on in me, and there are specific cleaning tools I use that are unique to me. But basically, I'm asking the divinity, I'm sorry, please forgive me for whatever's going on in me, that this woman should show up in my life, experiencing her saying to me, I've been diagnosed. Now, one of the things I had to work on, because I just had to work on this whole judgment about somebody saying that somebody's going to die in 3 months. Mm-hmm. I had to work on that one. Yeah. And again, people can't help. If a doctor says you only got 3 months to live, he can't help it. That's the data in him. So now the question is, at some point, who is going to start deleting the data? But it's so easy.
Can we delete all the data?
I'm sorry?
Can we delete all the data?
That's a divinity's job, not mine. My job is to appeal. Divinity's job is to erase. So I can't say to divinity. Like occasionally I say, "Come on, hurry up, hurry up."
Did Buddha delete all the data as far as you can tell?
You'll have to talk to Buddha.
So, when you think of enlightened masters on the planet, you don't necessarily think of them with data deleted then, or do you?
No, I'm more interested, like in somebody else. I'm not interested whether Shakespeare is a risen master. I'm more interested in some insights that I could use to get some of these ideas across. For example, Shakespeare's, I think the notion that poor soul, how does that go? Poor soul, these rebel powers that be array. So Shakespeare's already said, hello, the sin or the error is in the soul. So I go, oh yeah, that's sure. It's not out there someplace. It's a rebel power, what Shakespeare called poor bemoan, grievances forgone. It's played before, it's going to play again. The tragedy is we don't know that. That's the tragedy. We don't know that the data runs us. That's the tragedy. And so we're going to repeat it over and over.
Have you reached a point in your own evolution where you can see where the data runs you and where you are clear?
Sometimes, but rarely. I'm more interested in keeping the cleaning going nonstop. I don't go that route. Because I'm absolutely clear in my soul that the divinity has given me one more chance to make amends for whatever is going on in me. So I'm clear that my only purpose for existence is to free myself, so I can be free and once more be in line with the light and being enlightened. So, yeah.
Do you have an
So I love how direct he is. He just like, this is just how it works. That's all I know. This is how it works. So Dave has a writing by Robert Brummett that he offered to share today. And I love how everything sort of dovetails, because basically what Dr. Yulin is saying is he just clears himself out. He calls it cleaning. He just keeps doing this process. And like he said, he has certain tools unique to himself that he reserves for himself. But the Ho'oponopono prayer is one that he clearly uses on an ongoing basis. And that really ties in with this idea of beginner's mind, or as Robert Brummett puts it in a different Zen philosophy, it's beginner's mind, and in the Korean Zen, it's don't know mind. So Dave, if you would like to read, and just think of while he's reading, listen to it from that standpoint of that clearing, that cleaning that Dr. Yulin is talking about, and getting to that point. Because I think sometimes when we hear these things, we think, well, how do you get there? How do you do that? How do you get to that point? And I think we're still grappling with how does Dr. Yulin do this? But in the Bible, Jesus said, make yourself like little children. And to me, that is a beginner mind. That's the curiosity. So Dave, I'm going to turn it over to you to read.
Okay. First, I'd like to introduce you all to Robert Brummett. He's one of my favorite writers, and actually my contacting him when I was still living up in Oregon is what brought me to Unity. So he has a blog that he sends writings out twice a month. His site is robertbrummett.com, B-R-U-M-E-T. Recommended very highly. And he's got a small, short bio here I'd like to read just so you have some idea of what he's all about. It says, Robert Brummett is a teacher, writer, and spiritual director. Brummett was chairman of pastoral studies at Unity Institute and Seminary, where he taught from 1989 to 2016. He's the author of 4 books and over a dozen magazine articles. Brummett is a teacher of insight meditation, having received certification from Spirit Rock Meditation Center. He's also a spiritual director, receiving certification from Mount St. Scholastica College. Robert was ordained a Unity minister in 1980 and has served churches in Indiana and Kansas. He has a BS and an MS degree from the University of Toledo and an honorary Doctor of Divinity degree from Unity Institute. He resides in Kansas City, Missouri. And the title of this is The Don't Know Mind. This is what Robert says.
If I could just invite you, Dave, to read it slowly so people can just really take it in. I know you were just doing the introduction quickly, but really give people a chance to hear the words.
I could do that. Okay, this is the don't know mind. We don't know. We don't have enough information. We're not sure what to do right now. You may hear these words a lot in today's news. It's ironic that in this age, when we're accustomed to having all of our questions answered with a single command, that we don't know very little about some of the most crucial questions facing us today. This generates a considerable amount of anxiety in our world. The human mind is not comfortable with not knowing, particularly when it involves how we manage our lives. The mind craves the familiar, the certain, the tried and true, and it shrinks mightily from the experience of not knowing. Understanding, planning, and predicting are gears that turn the engine of our modern world. We want leaders who have a handle on things. Not many politicians would be elected to office on a don't know platform. Even when we truly don't know something, we're loath to accept the fact to ourselves as well as to others. The mind creates an all manner of beliefs, theories, and fantasies to mitigate the anxiety of not knowing. This aversion to the unknown runs very deep. Most likely it originates in our drive for self-preservation. The unknown harbors the potential for danger. What I don't know can hurt me. The old mind will cling to outmoded beliefs no matter how much suffering it causes, because it helps us feel safe. Better the devil you know is our unspoken mantra. And yet there's little that we can do to control the future. We never know what will happen next, but we work very hard to avoid acknowledging the fact. We use planning as a buffer against the feelings of uncertainty, but it doesn't work very well. And when our plans are disrupted, we usually feel disappointment or anger. Underlying those feelings lies the deep anxiety of having little control over our destiny. In some spiritual practices, the states of not knowing is not only tolerated, but it's cultivated. Not knowing is used as a vehicle for awakening. Don't know mind is a signature meditation practice in Korean Zen, as well as some other schools of Buddhism. The Japanese Zen master Suzuki Roshi referred to this state of not knowing as beginner's mind, the mind that is fresh and new in every moment. This is the mind that knows nothing and contains the potential for everything. Beginner's mind is fertile ground for unique and creative possibilities and for enlightenment. The essence of this practice in everyday life is to simply live in the reality that you truly do not know what the future holds and that you're not in control of most events in your life. To engage this practice, you need to allow any feelings to arise that are related to don't know mind. Typically, it's fear or anxiety. One way to do this practice is to first acknowledge any plans that you need to make and then make them. Then completely forget about them until you need to act. Set goals if you wish. Identify what you need to do right now, then let go and live fully in the present moment. As you focus entirely on the here and now, notice feelings that arise. Notice when your mind jumps to the future, planning, worry, daydreaming, hoping. And if you can, notice the feeling that immediately preceded the jump out of that present moment. For example, uneasiness, anxiety, or boredom. This may be challenging at first, but with practice, you can become aware of the feeling as it arises, and then you can choose to stay with the feeling itself rather than unconsciously split off from it. Breathe. Notice physical sensations. Notice emotions. Notice memories and thoughts. Allow everything and be open to each of your feelings. Also notice the general kind of thought that grabs your attention. Rehearsing a future event. Notice if fear is present. Reminiscing or rehashing the past. Notice if grief or remorse is present. Do not analyze or interpret, just be aware in each moment. Eventually, you may notice that you're responding to situations in your life more effectively than if you had planned for them. You may notice more serendipitous events in your life. You begin to trust your spontaneity. You may notice more creative ideas arising. Creativity flows naturally if we give it space to grow. A mind that is not preoccupied is free. And when you do make a decision or take action on something, do it and then let go of all attachments to outcome. The practice is an end in itself. If you can use these times of uncertainty to practice don't know mind, then you'll not only endure the crisis, but you can be transformed by it. And when the time comes, you won't just return to normal, but you will be a different person and can be part of creating a different and better world. This time of uncertainty can amplify your suffering or become a long path for freedom from it. It all depends on how you choose to live it each and every moment. And that's it.
I have to unmute myself first. I was saying thank you, Dave, and I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And I'm unmuting everyone if we want to have a little discussion. I think that really went so well with Dr. Hewlin's comments. You know, he's taking personal responsibility for anything that he might believe about anything they share. So whatever kind of preconceived ideas he had, and he mentioned specifically the doctor's prognosis of their, you know, illness or how much time they have or whatever, and he has judgment on that, and he had to clear on that and release his judgment about the prognosis not necessarily about the illness or the individual, but it was all his own work. And I think that goes with beginner's mind or don't know mind. It's like, I don't know what created it. I don't know what it's here to teach us. I don't know what my part in it is. But if I can clear myself of any sort of preconceived notion, then it can unfold in a myriad of ways. Any thoughts? Hetty?
Well, so much of it has to do with not having expectations. And you and I have had this discussion before. It's something I've been cultivating for years, and sometimes it's difficult to do, but certainly is well worth working on, since there's never any way that one can be disappointed if they have no expectations.
And it goes beyond even disappointed. It's when you have expectations, then your focus is limited. Whereas if you have no expectations, everything is possible. You know, it's yes,
Right.
you could be disappointed if it doesn't turn out that one specific way, but even moreover and broader than that is all of the different ways that it could have turned out are impossible when you're attached to the one expectation. So that childlike wonderment and curiosity, the don't know, I don't know. And he goes back to that. He goes back to that a lot. I like that. He seems difficult if you just look at him on the surface, but he's very simplistic in his responses. It all goes back to, it's only about me, clearing on me. Mark, you have any thoughts? I see you've muted yourself again. Hetty, you any thoughts? Sylvia?
It's when we wake up in the morning, leave behind what happened yesterday, and just start with an empty, clear mind and take your experiences in the way they happen.
I think that's, yeah, exactly what it's all teaching us to do. That's just not what we learned, right?
No.
We have to unlearn everything up until today. But it's a really good, I almost said intention, and then I remembered he said he doesn't like that word intention. But it's a good practice. It's a good way. And I think it just takes coming back to making that your way and clearing on anything that is other than that might distract.
But what we have been saying, live in a now. Yeah, just live in this moment, and that's all there is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's, go ahead, Sylvia.
well, yeah, I think that's what Hetty's saying, and what in the video is just, if you're present, then you're not trying to decide what's going to happen in the future by having expectations or memories, of being hurt from whatever you're thinking.
Yeah, I think memories, that definitely weighs us to the past. I think I read something the other day that memories without the emotional attachment are simply wisdom. Or maybe Dr. Hewlin said it, I don't know. But it does become wisdom when we can recall something from a simply black and white point of view. We don't have to erase our memories. It's the emotion that attaches it and creates something that sticks us in the past. But if we can just recall without any emotion. Shall we watch another segment?
So if you look at a memory, and you have a memory, that is the way you go back to the time, the way what had happened. But by now, what has happened at that time might not affect you at all, because it's different. Yeah, so it's no use living in the past.
No,
Or you can clear it if you felt bad about it, then clear it and put in what you feel now about it.
yeah, or just leave it open from
Yeah.
that don't know mind. Don't know what I feel about it. I'm just open to whatever's happening now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that cleaning process because it's just, it brings us back to zero, and as Sylvia said, into the present moment. And Eckhart Tolle, in The Power of Now, the one sentence that I've carried with me all this time is that the past is only as important or as relevant as how you bring it into this moment. It's simply the past until you bring it into this moment. Whether it was a disappointment or whatever it was, or pain or suffering. Anybody else want to share? We'll watch a little bit more.
An experience at times. Why are you laughing? Do you have an experience at times of feeling like you're in the groove, like you're in perfect alignment? Like are there moments where
I never look for that, but there are times in which I experience like absolute love for my friend here. That I can experience. I have children and grandchildren of which I do the cleaning because I want to make sure that I'm not attached to them in any way, so that they can get the information directly from the divinity, not from me. So I'm just cut all the time. And occasionally, when I get a call from my children, I have two daughters, 30 plus, I should feel love for them. Yeah.
When you say cut, are you talking about cutting apicords?
Yeah, I'm talking about erasing memories in me that I experience them as quotes, judging them, how come they don't do this way, they don't do that, and all that. Yeah. And they're beautiful, my children are. Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. But my responsibility for them is to set them free from any grasp that I have on them, which is memory, like trying to grab them.
Would that include loving memories?
A memory is a memory.
So
it's a dead memory. There's no such thing as a good memory.
So to set them free from memories would be not to remember any of the past that you've ever had together?
Or to at some point to see them as gods.
Now you say or.
Yeah.
They're mutually exclusive.
Oh, of course, because if I have, and you know, I'm going to be cleaning with them till the day I die. It's just the way it is. I mean, they're there, I experience them, and I want to make sure I'm just cutting these ties so that they get the information directly from the divinity, not from me. Mm-hmm. So, am I sure? I'm never sure. I don't know that well. I just keep cleaning and cleaning.
You speak, or maybe it's Joe that references the experience of wonder and the importance of the experience of wonder. Could you talk a little more about that?
I'm more interested in the experience of freedom.
More than wonder.
Yeah. It's interesting because that question brings up, there was a chap, they call himself chap,
yes,
in Australia, who I gave a lecture, and he kept saying, now, wait a minute, you mean you don't want us to be curious? That's his comeback. I said, well, to be at zero, you can be in awe. But if you want to take curiosity instead of awe, be my guest. Yeah. It's hard to put things down only because I'm never certain if I'm inspired or not, and and to be very honest, I don't care. I'm just doing the cleaning, just non-stop. Yeah. So I don't have any intentions to. For example, people will call me. I used to do these things. I don't do anymore. There's a young man in Hawaii who he's having a very difficult quote. His mother is saying he's having a difficult time. People don't like him. He's not doing well at school, and so as I'm reading the email, I'm doing the cleaning. What's going on in me? This is showing up. And then she asked how to help him, and I had to remind her, you're not helping him. It's only about you. What's going on in you that you're experiencing that way?
Do you take individual clients?
I used to maybe 20 years ago, but I don't do that anymore. Yeah, better that they should learn how to do it on their own. Put us out of business so we can be vacationing here in Monterey instead of trading around the world. Yeah.
I'm curious, what in you is creating your commitment to such a rigorous teaching schedule?
Somebody asked me that, but they asked me in a different way. This is the way they asked me. They asked me, how did you come around to doing this? And I said, I don't know. Life is a mystery, and I just happen to be here in this moment, and there are all the forces, and I have no idea how these forces brought me here. But I'm clear though, I'm here to clean with you chair the board, this guy, the camera, that thing is going to get on the internet, going to get on shows, and the shows are all generated by oil. You know that, right? You have a cell phone?
Yes.
You know what the power of that cell phone is? Oil. Without the oil, that you guys wouldn't have any. Couldn't generate a cell phone message. It all goes back. So I'm cleaning with that. The rape of Mother Earth.
I know.
We're raping Mother Earth, but we can't help it. So I have to remind myself, nobody can help it. Everybody's stuck in programs, and so somebody's got to get to the cleaning, and I'm willing to do it. Marvin's willing to do it. More and more people around the world are willing to do it.
You have, I guess the answer I was looking to that last question is, I had in mind the possibility that you had the hope that many people would be doing this work, and that we might change the
if nobody showed up, I would do it anyway.
But would it not be your hope, or maybe you don't hope, that there would be
don't you
a movement?
Don't you think it's a form of manipulation?
I've thought that.
Well, I can erase that then. if you're not, I can work on that. I want to get to zero, so that the people who are divinely correct to come will come.
Right.
That's mine. I'm not here to promote anything. I'm not. At least I'm not intending to do it. I'm not conscious I'm doing it. I may be, but I think it's a disservice to people to promote something and then have them come when for them divinely it's not correct to be wherever they end up being. You know.
In other words, promotion speaks to their memories.
Yeah.
And stimulates their memories.
Yeah.
But can promotion also speak to them and stir them to want to erase their memories?
If I clean, let's say I clean, and there are 8 billion people out there. If I clean and I get myself back to zero, even for an instant, everybody will get back to zero. Then it's the divine in them that will choose to do it or not to do it. Not some promotion on my part, or some manipulation on my part. Yeah.
And the book that Joe wrote about you or with you,
Yeah.
is that a manipulation? Is that, how do you see the book?
Well, it depends on what page you're on. Yeah, depends on what page you're on. Depends on
Overall, how do you feel about the book?
Well, but I cleaned before, so like with you, he had asked me months and months and months if I would do a book with him, and I did the cleaning. I heard no, just like with you guys, and at some point I heard yes, so I did it. Now, I'm responsible for every point and every letter in the book, so there are people who will ask me certain things, and having not read all of the book myself, yeah, so, but my own sense, he's a nice guy, and so he shows up for me to clean, and I clean, and I heard do it. And so sometimes somebody will ask me, like you asked me, well, what does Joe Vitale think about it? I said, you'll have to talk to Buddha or do that. I can't speak for them.
If we have a subconscious,
Yeah.
Do you want to keep watching?
then that's where memories are stored. And some people say it's the physical body that is the subconscious.
Yeah.
What about a chair? What about what we would maybe call an inanimate object that does not have a subconscious?
Yeah.
Where does it store its memories?
It does have this thing is alive. This thing is telling me who sat here, all the people who sat here. This thing is telling me where the material came from. It's talking to me, and as it's talking, I'm just doing the cleaning. So this chair, like you, has the three cells. It has the superconscious, conscious, and subconscious. So it isn't. There's no such thing as an inanimate object. For example, you can talk to the camera. You can say to the camera, how many cameras do you have, Alex? So you can say to the camera, well, we're gonna tape this guy, Hugh Len. So can you? Well, what do you think about that? You can talk to the camera, and the camera will tell you. No, I don't know about that. And then let's say he knew how to do the cleaning, and said, well, let's do the cleaning, and so he does the cleaning, and maybe the camera will change its mind.
So when photographers say the camera loves you, they're speaking more than they know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even I had to show you how goofy this thing can be, I had a friend of mine who married a guy who wasn't doing very well in the construction business, and then when like 40,000 he made, and then maybe 3 years later after she married him, he made 3 million. But she knew that her job was to work on all of the projects, talk to all of the projects. And so one day he was having trouble, I think, putting up a scaffold or something. And so she did the cleaning, and she heard the nails. She heard the nails and said, we just can't get along. Can't get along. So if you can't get nails to even get along, then you can't put up a scaffold, you know. The scaffold won't work. So the idea is you have to be able to talk to everything. Get them ready. Like little children, you have to say, okay, here we're starting a new project. Here's the address. Here, and then you begin the cleaning right away, and then the right subcontractors will show up. I mean, and the right banking will show up. The right whatever. But everything is alive. And so everything has the three cells. Yeah.
I've seen the kind of process happen that you're describing, where everything just drops into alignment with a plan. But how is it would you encourage everyone to learn to have the facility that you have of talking to furniture and talking to a plan and talking to all the forces that go into making something work?
Whoever shows up over the weekend and at this lecture, I'm going to
Is that what
talk
you're
about
going to be
that.
talking about?
Yeah, but I'm not going to yell at the rest of the world and say, come on, I have something I'm going to tell you about this. You could really use. That's an imposition. Yeah, it's an imposition.
It's not a gift.
It's an imposition. Yeah. Yeah. My job is to do my cleaning, and then if I do my cleaning and get back to zero, everybody will get back to zero. That's the only purpose I'm here. And then people show up because they would like to, however they've heard it, and they would like to know more. I'm willing to do that. Because I can get more people to clean, then I'm going to have more enlightenment. Huh?
Great.
As opposed to my light bulb. My children say, Dad, your light's out. Say, thank you.
Are there certain activities that you engage in life that help you to get to zero more than others?
Yeah, like eating cleaning foods, drinking liquids that are cleaning, having plants in your environment that clean, of course.
When you are doing cleaning, are you going into an altered state of consciousness? No. You're just doing it from your conscious mind and trusting that.
Well, I'm hoping I'm doing it consciously, but I'm hoping I've talked to my subconscious, who is a computer bank, that the subconscious has heard me enough. I've fallen in love with it, and has asked it, please help me with the cleaning. And so I've downloaded every information that I know about the cleaning, and so my subconscious knows it, and it will do the cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
So,
are there any guides or angels that help one with cleaning?
if you eat blueberries, for example, blueberries erase memories and open up angelic kingdoms. Yeah.
Could you speak to us a little about angelic kingdoms?
What would you like to know?
Are there levels to them? Do they interact with humans?
I don't know those things. I don't know that route. All I know is one day I was cleaning years ago, and the lady said, "Why don't you try blueberries?" I said, okay. And I said, "Well, what do you say?" I said, "Well, I could see the angelic kingdom." And then that was it. The discussion ended. I didn't hear whether they were levels, and it was stretched out. I didn't hear any of that.
Do you mean like nature spirits when you speak of angels?
I don't know what that is.
Like people say that there are little people that are guardians of plants and the earth.
No, I'm talking about angelic kingdom. Other universes, other dimensions that open up, stretch open. So you eat one blueberry, just stretches, and your mind goes, wow. Yeah, and you may not be conscious of it. That's the 11 million for which you're not conscious.
Right.
And it's different with blackberries than blueberries.
I don't know about blackberries. I know blueberries. I know strawberries. Those things. Strawberries, for example, deal with women's hatred for men. Lots there, you know.
That's right. I remember. I forgot all about that. Why don't you tell us a little bit about women's hatred for men?
Well,
if we have a
That was an interesting place to stop.
So you can pick that topic up on Monday, Beverly.
Yeah. But I love that he referenced the subconscious, conscious, and superconscious, just like we discussed on a Metaphysical Monday. And so, what thoughts are you having? There was a lot in that.
It brings that to my mind about what we repeat all the time. We are all one. There's only one presence and one power. And so if we are little aspects of the whole thing, and like on a hologram, whatever little thing is, it affects the whole. And so what they experience in one way or another it's not in our life and our experience also, even though we don't have to physically do it, but so if we clear everything in us, that will affect everybody else that really suffers from that.
Yeah, great synopsis, Hetty. I mean, it's true. And I think it's so far beyond what we're consciously aware of.
Uh-huh.
And I 100% believe it's true. 100%. Because we are connected, we are one, as you said. And I love that he was talking about, you know, the life that's in the chair and even in the material in the chair. When we were having the locks changed on the building because someone lost a key, the locksmith was struggling with this one door. And he worked on that one door for like an hour and a half. And he said, we're just getting so frustrated. I don't know if it's even worth it. I said, well, it's almost lunchtime. He said, yeah, we think we're just going to go have some lunch. And I said, while you go to lunch, I'm going to go around and bless all of the doors so that when you come back, it'll all go more smoothly. And he and his wife looked at each other and laughed out loud right in my face. And I said, you know what, you can laugh, but I'm still going to bless all the doors. And so he said, no, we believe in that. We believe in that. And so they went to lunch and they came back and the remaining doors just went smoothly. And so, you know, that's what I believe. And, you know, whether or not he believes it, maybe he borrowed a little bit of my belief, but that consciousness, whether it's intention, whether it's clearing, whatever kind of energy or however you articulate it, whether you work with angels, it doesn't matter. It all comes back to the consciousness. But I like his process because it's uncomplicated. It goes back to that beginner's mind, that I don't know mind. I don't really know what's going on here. I really don't need to know. Sylvia, thoughts?
Yeah. When I hear him saying that he repeats, you know, the cleansing, I'm thinking of or remembering of how people used to just pray all the time. They would say the rosary and just repeat it. And yes, that puts you in a different wavelength.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's, you know, when I hear him talk, it's like, yeah, he's going back to a meditative wavelength.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, that would open him up to see the angels or just be more aware of the mystical in things.
I agree. Yeah, there's a lot of chants that you do, the same chant 108 times, just like the rosary. And
Oh,
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, I liked it.
Reminded me, I was looking at a program of Ho'oponopono, and they had 101 repeated chants of the prayer. And I don't know how to get it off that program to be able to, you know, put it somewhere where I can access it more readily, because I'm not going to buy this program. It was just an introduction.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that you could click on is the Ho'oponopono prayer 108 times.
I bet if you looked on YouTube, it's probably there somewhere. Somebody's probably offered it.
Oh, okay.
Because I know that people do sing that as a song, or sort of a chant, but I don't know how many times.
Well, the ones I have of the chanting, it's not 108 times.
Yeah.
I guess you could,
Play it on a loop. Yeah.
you know, but then you have to count them, you know, it's like,
Well, maybe that's something we could get Josh to do. Put it on a loop for exactly 108 times. Dave, any thoughts about how your reading ties into Ho'oponopono?
Nothing new.
I once heard it, like it was probably also on internet. Somebody, I forgot who she was singing the prayer. First Ho'oponopono, and she translated, and she had a beautiful voice, and that really, you really could feel it.
do you remember her name?
No, I don't.
Oh.
Dave, did you have a comment?
No, I was saying that I had no comment.
Oh, okay. Your comment is no comment.
Correct.
Mark and Gayleen, Dave and Mandy. Anything to contribute?
No, I don't think so. We're just absorbing information. No, not really.
Okay, that's fine. All right, well, we're right at the top of the hour, very close to it. We could do just a couple minute, quick little centering moment, not really a whole meditation, but I think everybody on this call can probably drop in pretty quickly if we would just want to close our eyes and take a deep breath in together. And slowly release that breath. And together we just open our heart in gratitude. And just let that gratitude and appreciation emanate from our heart center out into the world. And together that's our gift to the world. Collectively, we amplify one another's energy and intention for love and peace and joy. With each breath, as we breathe in, we just feel the intensity of that gratitude and appreciation gaining momentum, filling our heart center. And then as we breathe out, we just allow it to expand out into the world. We just continue knowing that this is reality, this is truth. This is our contribution to wholeness and well-being and peace and love. We'll just continue. We just know that as we move throughout the rest of our evening, we'll just continue to allow that love to go out into the world and just to land anywhere where there's need. Because we are a generator of love. We can put it out there in the world and we can just give it away. For this truth of our being and who we are in this world, we just say thank you. Thank you, thank you. And so it is. Amen. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. It's 5 o'clock. Thank you for forgiving me. I love you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Mhm.